from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for January 2024. So on January 11th, we are going to have the very first new moon of the year, and it is taking place at 20 degrees, 44 minutes of Capricorn energy. So of course, this brings the last lunar cycle based off of the new moon in Sagittarius to an end, to a close. Of course, if we reflect back over this past month, we would realize that everything was a little crazy, a little bit chaotic, bouncing all over the place, new visualizations, new hopes, new wishes, new dreams, new circumstances, new details, new epiphanies, pretty chaotic, just like a pinball machine just bouncing around everywhere. Well, the new moon in Capricorn is going to create order out of that chaos, put things where it is that they're supposed to be. Of course, the cardinal earth energy of Capricorn is initiating a change. We're reactive to information, to circumstances, to situations that popped off, that showed us a better way, that showed us a better path. The cardinal energy initiates this new change. Now, if you're still feeling a little bit crazy, a little bit chaotic, fear not, we are going to be moving into Aquarius season here very shortly. That's a fixed air sign, which means that is when the craziness is going to stabilize. But this new moon in Capricorn, first of all, will be reaching its peak potent energy at 6:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 11th. And we are definitely going to feel the heaviness, the weight of all of this earth energy. I'm going to recommend that you download the moon guide so that you can get in alignment, do the shadow work, really focus in on what this particular new moon cycle is going to be about. We have to understand that the Capricorn energy is like the general foreman of the zodiac. We are in high manifesting energy, but the problem with that is that Saturn, who rules over this Capricorn energy, is a little bit of a negative Nancy, a little bit of a Debbie Downer. Kind of puts a lot of pressure on us. And so the vibe, the focus, the mental plane, the heart space, not as happy-go-lucky as we would prefer it to be, especially reaching the levels, the vibrations, the frequencies that we need to be at to manifest. But what we are concentrated on is what is no longer working for us, what it is that we've outgrown, that we no longer want to pour time, energy, and attention into. We are frustrated, we are agitated, we are seeing the collapse of the old for good reason. We need to address what it is that we're closing the door on, what it is that we're leaving behind, and what it is that we're clearing the space out in this present moment for, especially for us to start building towards new goals, new visions, new dreams. So this is going to be a new beginning, but it's going to feel very heavy, very weighted because of this earth energy. We need to be focusing. Again, January is a visualization month, not a time of jumping into new things, a time of either carrying out old plans or initiating the visualization of conjuring up new plans. And so, there's a lot of discipline that is needed in order for us to stay the course, so that when we bump into obstacles, when we bump into challenges, that we tap into the Capricorn energy where we persevere, where we tap into a new determination to stay the course, where we understand that we are going to bump into these blockages, these challenges, where it is that we can't let these blockages and challenges throw us off of our game. We're very ambitious under this particular influence. Mostly, I would say at this point at a 20 degree, we're ambitious, we're determined to close the door, to release, to really move away from some of the constructs, the aspects that we're no longer in alignment with. The space that gets provided once we close the door on those particular elements gives us a different mind space to figure out what we would like to build in the place of the things that we're currently removing. So because this is at a 20 degree, it's pretty late in the zodiac wheel. This is going to be about realizing the new beginnings only out of the endings that we are providing ourselves with at this particular point in time. The Capricorn energy is very focused on the long term. We are more apt to kind of sacrifice in the short term for those long-term gains. We are operating from a sense of maturity. Again, that Saturn element comes in, the military grandfather, if you will, the tough love life lesson giver. And we're really having to reflect back on all that we've done, all that we've experienced in order to get to this present moment, what we could have done differently if given a different opportunity to do so. And that is where the maturity comes in. We're slowing the roll down. We're tapping into common sense. We are visualizing what it is that we would like to kind of execute as far as our future goals go, but we're not really committing at this particular moment to how that is going to unfold. Meaning that the minute that we kind of agree in this Capricorn energy, yep, this is what I want, yep, this is what I'm going to do, the minute that we put it into words, the minute that we're able to articulate it within ourselves, let alone talk about it outside of ourselves, is the minute that we lock that commitment in. The issue, I would say, that many of us experience with Capricorn energy is that it requires us to boss up to a new level of role and responsibility in our lives in order to be a vibratory match for the gains, for the rewards that we want so badly. And so because we just anchored in this new version of self, this is like the first foundational move, if you will, that we're making as this new version of self. And there's a lot of resistance, a lot of hesitancy that we are currently experiencing because there is a lot of fear, mostly trapped in our lower extremities. Take a good look at your hips, your knees, your ankles at this point in time. We are reaching a point of action, reaching a point of taking a step forward, and we're still holding a little bit of fear and resistance in our body because we just don't know if we have what it takes to actually see this thing through. As we kind of build through this new moon energy, as the moon will kind of reappear in the night sky here in a couple of days, we will be gaining confidence. We will be gaining in the momentum. We will be gaining in our focus, in the clarity that we've been lacking. We will see things come full circle, but it does require us to take a step in a different direction, whether or not we're holding fear in our bones or not. Sometimes the bravest things that you can do is to have that courage to take a step forward, even though you are in a state of fear on what the future may hold. So we are very logical, we are down to earth, we are very realistic with our goals, with our dreams, with our visions, but it is going to be a very low, very slow process in gaining that particular momentum that right now we're currently lacking. So this is a time for us to get our shit together. We got to get organized. We got to get organized in our thoughts. We got to get organized in our feelings. We got to get organized in our physical realm. It's time to put the chaos and the craziness in its spot. And so with that being said, sometimes we have to focus on the smaller details in order to understand how they're either going to help support or totally break the long-term plans, the long-term goals that we're currently setting for ourselves. So this is a back and forth, if you will, focusing in on the big picture, realizing where it is in our smaller day-to-day lives that we're not necessarily in alignment with that big picture, and in making the adjustments accordingly. Again, cardinal energy. When you are faced with information, details that promotes a change, that promotes a reaction in order to redirect the energy in a better form, that's what we do. We have the support of that. And so, one of the lessons that we really have to learn here is to be accountable and responsible for our own freaking lives. We have to implement boundaries, routines, schedules, rules that's actually going to support progress and success towards our future vision, towards our future goals. There is this kind of negative Nancy, Debbie Downer type of tone, but we're going to push through nonetheless, and we are not going to let those mean girls really kind of set us back. And so there's a lot of beautiful harmonizing aspects under this new moon. Again, download your moon guide. We're going to go through it and what that energy means. The negative ones, quote unquote negative ones, they're not bad. They just create tension and conflict in order to illuminate where change is needed the most. But we have Uranus working with us, which is shocking our system, opening up our mind, really putting us in a situation where we're willing to take a well thought out, well calculated risk if it means actually making some progress in the right direction. So this particular new moon is setting the tone for what it is that we're going to be building on throughout the whole year of 2024. And not just talking about a long-term goal about a year from now, like we're talking as far as you want to project yourself into the future version of self and those goals, those dreams, those ambitions. But this is a very serious, very somber, very realistic, mature approach to getting our shit together, to getting our to-do list down to a minimum. We're cleaning up the debris of the past. We're cleaning the slate for the present moment so that we can focus all of our time, all of our energy on what it is that we want to build, what it is that we want to create, what it is that we want to bring to life.